I'm super excited to have you here today. I understand that we have a wide range of audience all over Malaysia, academics, non-academic staff, undergraduates, postgraduates. I understand there are participants from UTM, UTHM, UNIMED, UMP, UNIMAS, UTHM, and so on. I'm sure this webinar will be a great opportunity to learn even more about the funding opportunities available under this Fulbright program. So without any further delay, I would like to warmly invite the President of the Fulbright Alumni Association Malaysia, FAAM, Dr. Fakhrul Hazmin Yusoff, for his welcoming remarks. Please welcome Dr. Fakhrul. Dr. Fakhrul, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rozana. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah and good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome you to the event and a big welcome to our MACEE director, Mr. Curtis is here. I think, and then we also have the RMC's UiTM team over here. I would like to thank them. First of all, I would like to officially thank Professor Datuk Prof. Abu Bakar, the director of RMC, who with the RMC initiative allow us to do this program jointly organized with FAAM, Fulbright Alumni Association Malaysia, and also with the support of MACEE, which is the Malaysian Malaysian-American Commission on Education Exchange. I still cannot memorize the name. Sorry, Mr. Curtis. Okay, and another thing is, before I pass to other speakers, I'm not going to be very long. I just want to share our upcoming program. We are quite active. I think I'm going to share a program over here. Okay, so there are two upcoming programs that you can join. First is the Humphrey Fellowship Grant Briefing. So Humphrey Fellowship is one of the program that is closing very soon on the end of July. So the detailing, I think we will ask Dr. Tan Wee Ho, one of our Humphrey Fellow, to give a full briefing. The full briefing will be done on the 13th of July. It is conducted at night, 8:30 to 10 p.m. You can register at this website here, gopic.my/farm/briefing. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Okay, that is one of our program. So if you want to join that program, then you can do that. And another one is a big event, which is a collaboration with a Ministry of Higher Education. That will be on the 14th of July. So this one will be featuring Professor Dr. Frederick from Yale and Professor Dr. Adiba from University of Malaya. So this one you can you register yourself at gopic.my/FAAM USA talk. Just you have to just remember that the first one is gopic.my/farm, and then the first program is briefing, and the second program is USA talk. So yeah, this is the program that we are promoting on that. But anyway, that is our upcoming event. But definitely today is about Fulbright grants briefing. I think that is what I want to say today, and welcome again everyone to the online event. So I pass back to the MC. Thank you, Dr. Rozana.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Fakhrul, for a very enlightening and refreshing welcoming opening speech. We're gonna hear more about this. We're gonna hear more about this grant from Dr. Fakhrul in a short while. But before that, I would like to invite the director of the Research Management Center, UiTM, Professor Dr. Abu Bakar Abdul Majid, for an opening remark. So please joining me in welcoming Dr. Bakar. Bakar. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Professor, how are you?
Good, good, thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Hi, Dr. Rozana, Dr. Fakhrul, and Mr. Johnson, and the rest of the participants here. Very good morning to all. Must say thank you to you, especially Dr. Fakhrul and Johnson, for being able to join us this morning to share with us the experience and also the opportunities and possibilities of our participants getting the benefit of Fulbright fellowship and related fellowship awarded by the US government. Fulbright has been with us for many years now. It's a very popular and very prestigious award. We have come to know about Fulbright since, I think, since the 60s. And I believe there are so many Malaysians who have benefited from Fulbright. I have also somewhat benefited, though not directly from Fulbright, but another program by the US State Department. And I believe all these opportunities and chances given to us to visit the US, either to institutions of higher learning, to colleges, to departments, to NGOs. I even visited several churches, actually. This all gave me plenty of experience and first-hand knowledge of the culture, the education, and especially research and innovation in the United States of America, whom we know is probably, top in terms of innovation, because there's no way of beating the US in terms of innovation. It's very difficult. And I think the US has really flourished because the people, many of them are very innovative, creative, and something that we can learn from them. So I hope today the participants will be encouraged and enticed to apply for any one of those grants. I know when you look up at MACEE's website, you can see plenty of opportunities there. So, and also the event coming up to be hosted probably by the alumni Fulbright, involving Prof. Dato Adiba and Professor from Lake Evelis from Yale. I think we should all join that event.
Yes. You're welcome. Yeah, you're invited. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Fakhrul, for agreeing to do this, and Mr. Johnson again. Thank you very much, and thank you, Azlan. So I wish you all the best on this particular program. So with that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good event, and a very good day to all.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam, Datuk. Thank you, Datuk, for the opening remark from the RMC. Special thanks to the Research Management Center, RMC UiTM teams that has made this virtual event possible. Ladies and gentlemen, with us today is the Director of Malaysian-American Commission for Educational Exchange, MACEE, Mr. Curtis Johnson. So let me just briefly introduce Mr. Johnson. Johnson is passionate about public service and the opportunities in a high quality education can provide. So Curtis has an extensive background in government relations and public affairs with over a decade of experience in the executive and legislative branches of the United States government. Serving abroad, Curtis promoted US businesses, educational institutions, American history and culture as the Senior Manager of America, the US Department of State's one-of-a-kind culture center in Jakarta, Indonesia from 2011 to 2012 and from 2016 to 2020. So without further delay, please welcome Mr. Johnson for his opening speech. Mr. Johnson, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Morning.
I'd like to start by thanking Professor Dr. Abu Bakar for his remarks and the Research Management Center here at Universiti Tecnology Malaya for hosting this wonderful event. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge our Fulbright family represented here today through the Fulbright Alumni Association of Malaysia, guided by President Dr. Fakhrul, as well as welcome everyone under the sound of my voice. As was mentioned, my name is Curtis Johnson, and I want to recruit you. I am the Executive Director of the Malaysian-American Commission for Educational Exchange, which is also known as MACEE. For 58 years, MACEE has been the academic bridge between the United States and Malaysia. MACEE is one of only 48 binational commissions in the world. What further makes MACEE unique in its attributes is that unlike most other educational programs supported by other countries, MACEE's ownership is just as much Malaysia's as it is the United States, as we are governed by a board of 10 members, 5 of which are Malaysian and 5 of which are American. MACEE's cornerstone program, the Fulbright Fellowship, comes in approximately 12 different forms. 8 opportunities to send Malaysians to the United States, and 4 to bring Americans to Malaysia. Some of these programs will be discussed with you here today. Since 2006, MACEE has facilitated the educational diplomacy and exchange of over 350 Malaysian grantees to the United States, 160 American grantees to Malaysia, 900 English teaching assistants in 10 Malaysian states, as well as the thousands of primary and secondary Malaysian students who are served through that ETA program and our advising center, Education USA Malaysia. As you will hear, the stories of our alumni are wonderful and expansive, and sometimes they are humorous and enlightening, but ultimately they will show you the real America, one of innovation and research, one of understanding, diversity, and support. As we all know, COVID-19 has taken a toll on both countries, as well as many of us on this call. MACEE has also felt that impact. Some of our programs have suffered tremendously. Our ETA program, which brought 100 American college graduates annually to Malaysia's primary and secondary schools for the purposes of English teaching and cultural exchange, has been canceled indefinitely. Due to the uncertainty of travel guidelines and restrictions, American grantees to Malaysia have been postponed until 2022. In addition, Malaysian grantees must, and rightly so, quarantine for 2 weeks prior to being reunited with their families upon their return from the United States. Not to mention the consistent barrage of reports of anti-Asian and anti-Muslim sentiment in the United States. While none of these cold, hard truths paint a picture of hope for MACEE and educational exchange, we believe that it is always darkest before the dawn. We are taking this time of crisis to offer assistance, outreach, and support where we can, so that when the sun does shine again and travel opens up, MACEE will continue to be the connection and the bridge between our 2 great countries. We see this as a time and an opportunity to invest in our infrastructure. Some of the things that we're working on: improvements to our application and interview processes, review of our office location regarding accessibility to its customers. For those Malaysians who I mentioned earlier who are returning home and must quarantine, MACEE has stepped forward to pay the cost of stay, hopefully to ease the stress and the burden of reentry. And we will also commit to re-engaging and supporting our alumni, as well as to continue to grow the brand of MACEE and the Fulbright program throughout Malaysia. At MACEE, we understand that education can open hearts, minds, and doors to possibilities unimagined. Education is a key. It is a path towards a world unknown. Education has the opportunity to break barriers, to forge new friendships. Well, it has the opportunity to excel, advance technology, thought, and understanding, to essentially allow its participants to reach for the stars. Let us help you on that path. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I look forward to the rest of the program.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. You nailed it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of
Thanks.
questions from the audience today. So to audience, you are welcome to write down your question, anything relevant to this grant in the chat box, and I will address at the end of this sharing session. Thank you again, Mr. Johnson. It's a very refreshing opening speech from you, and I'm sure there's a lot of us today very excited to be in US for sure. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Okay, so I'm sure now you can't wait to know more about the Fulbright funding opportunities. So what are the available programs? Who can apply? How long is the funding? Where can you go? So let's hear all this answer from Dr. Fakhrul again. So please, Dr. Fakhrul, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rozana. Okay, let me proceed. I'm going to share my screen first. And sharing the screen is easier than sharing, a part of your apps. Okay, so it's gonna be this one. Okay. Okay, so Assalamualaikum and good morning again, everyone. So today, I'm Dr. Fakhrul Hazman Yusoff will be giving a briefing on Fulbright grants. Okay, so this is my email. If afterwards you want to contact me, then you can contact me through this email. Phone number, you email me first, then I give you phone number. All right. Um, no, why this is not moving? Okay. Can you see, right, Dr. Rozana? Have you can
Yes,
see?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
I can see your
Yeah.
present.
Just okay. A bit of a customary explanation on the Fulbright. So the Fulbright program is established in 1946 under the legislation introduced by the late Senator J. William Fulbright of Arkansas. Uh, it's the name is Fulbright with one L. That because the name of the late senator. Sponsored by U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Culture Affairs, which is the goal is to increase mutual understanding between the people of USA and the people of other countries. So under the Fulbright program, you have the opportunity to study, to teach and conduct research and also exchange ideas. Okay, so these are the program of Fulbright. The first thing that you need to know if you are interested in Fulbright is definitely this website, www.macee.org.my. So that is where you should head to, to get the latest information on a Fulbright program. Okay, so we're going to visit the website in a moment. So if you look over here, if you go to macee.org, you will notice that here, focus, they will have these Fulbright programs, and then we have the Education USA, and then the Fulbright Alumni Association. The alumni will be us, the Alumni Association, and then we have Education USA, but today the focus will be on the Fulbright programs. So the Fulbright program, actually there are two, sorry, there are two categories of Fulbright, the general categories of Fulbright program, there are two. One is for American and another one is for Malaysian, meaning that the American come to Malaysia and also Malaysian go to US. Okay, so in our context, the Fulbright program, you can invite a professor from US to Malaysia and we go to US. So these are both useful. Most of us are usually, Fulbright grants for Malaysia. That will be our interest, but do not underestimate the Fulbright grants for Americans, because actually we are requesting them to come. So there are also some opportunities there. I will talk about it later on. So basically, there are 8 Fulbright programs that are available. Okay, but the opening date and the closing date, differs from one program to another. But the point is, do not just focus on the one that is open, but we have to look at it in general, because sometimes the preparation is the whole year. You need a whole year to prepare. Okay, and then the Fulbright programs, they have usually that the date is doesn't vary very much from one year to another. For example, maybe the graduate study is July. The deadline is July, so you can expect the next year it will be the same. So July 2022 or things like that. So the certain program here, it's very fixed date. They just differ the year. Okay, so if you aim for one of the program, you can look at it, and then if it is closed, then don't worry. It can, you know, you can wait for another cycle, the next year's cycle. Okay, someone has raised the hand. Do you want me to answer right now, or he just click? So maybe you can put in the chat box if you want. Okay. All right. So we have 8 programs over here. The first one, wait, the this it is not working. Okay. So the first one is a Fulbright Malaysian Graduate Study and Research Program. The second one is a Fulbright Malaysian Scholar Program. And then we have Malaysia Professional Exchange. And then we have the Foreign Language Teaching Assistant Program. And then we have Humphrey Fellowship Program, US ASEAN, UGRAD, and the Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program. So currently, the program that are open is sorry, previous, it should be previous. So the one that is open, currently open, is Fulbright Malaysia Graduate Study and Research Program that is open. The due date is July 21st. And then for teachers, Foreign Language Teaching Assistant Program, the deadline is July 23rd. And then we have another program, which is a Humphrey Fellowship Program, which is the deadline is July 25th. I think for the academic community in the universities such as ours, so yeah, Humphrey Fellowship is one that we might be interested in, and then for the students, then you may want to consider the Malaysian Graduate Study and Research Program. So yeah, for the number 4, that one is for the teachers. Okay. Okay. So this one I just highlighted a few. This is like a field of study. So if you want to ask me, what are the field of studies that these grants are looking for? So it varies from program to program. As you can see over here, the graduate studies, they are looking into the American studies, Malaysian studies, Islamic studies, meaning that those who are in UiTM, the ASIS, the Center of Islamic Study, you can apply for a grant for the graduate study. Okay, so because they are offering for the field of Islamic studies, comparative religion. We also have economics and technology transfer and issues in contemporary social and international relation. I'm not sure about one of the question would be, how about this the science, the science program, the technology and science. I think maybe we can ask Karen mungkin after this, or maybe Mr. Curtis himself about that. But I do encounter those are also into science studies. I think because of we looking at the economic and the technology transfer, they are looking into that aspect. So they are also eligible for the program. In terms of and then we have the scholar program. So this is a Fulbright Malaysia Scholar Program that is, I say as the original, Fulbright Malaysia program. The original, I mean the first, I mean the original one will be the Malaysian program is a Fulbright Malaysian Scholar Program. One of our speaker today, Professor Ramesh, is under this Fulbright Malaysian Scholar Program. So the field of studying would be again on these issues. Okay, but as I said just now, Prof Ramesh is applied science, so he's also he's also accepted for the program. So I think it is not just this social science. I mean, of course, you see, as it is social science, but not really. I think we can also those from engineering or science can also apply. Okay. In terms of Fulbright Malaysian Professional Exchange, there is no specific field for that one. And then we have the FLTA is for the teachers. I noticed when I look at the website, I noticed a bit of confusing terms in there. One is one of the terms saying be teachers of English or training becoming teachers of English. But then the accepted field listed are anthropology, arts, communication, science, technology, and so on. So yeah, I think that, yeah, the I'm going to show you the regulation right afterwards. We're gonna visit MACEE.org afterwards. But there is these are the field for the teachers. The Humphrey Fellowship, it is more of a professional fellowship. This one is you have a broad field. So as you can see over here, the fellowship will accept anything under the human and institutional development, economic development, finance and banking. You have administration, technology, policy and management, rights, freedom, sustainable land, thriving communities, and so on. So these are the theme. I think definitely the theme is on the social side because it is about nation building, world building, but in the country building. So the element of science, the engineering, the technology will be inside that, right? So we said that, for example, if you're into the solar panel, so solar panel for the community. So the theme is the solar panel for the community. So if you're looking the trafficking in person, maybe the technology of trafficking of person, right? So yeah, you can look at it at that context. So then we have Fulbright US ASEAN visiting scholar. That is, I was under this Fulbright US ASEAN visiting scholar. So this one is research that supports ASEAN initiative. I think that is the biggest term over here, which is the ASEAN initiative. So you can go to, for example, ASEAN website and then look at what are their current initiative nowadays. So because the one who are going to evaluate this will be under the ASEAN Secretariat. So if you want you to work on or you propose a research on this area, so this is going to be a favorable treatment on that. So they're throwing in some examples. This is just some examples over here. So economic integration, expansion of maritime cooperation, promoting opportunities for women, transnational challenges, regional collaboration, trafficking, violent extremism, and so on. Okay, so and field of study include but are not limited to education, financial market integration, food. So I think this is like everything. This is like everything. We cover everyone in our university. I think in terms of UiTM. Okay, and also I think other university also. Okay. And then in terms of the global UGrad, so the global UGrad is for the undergraduates. This one doesn't have any specific in terms of the field of study. It is more of about your demonstration of leadership. So you are very if you're an active person and good at academic work, community involvement, and extracurricular activities. So you are eligible to apply for this. And the last one is a TEA. This is a teaching secondary level teachers, both middle and high school teachers serving student between. This is I think secondary school, sekolah menengah they call it in Malaysia. So this one full-time teachers of English. So this one is for the English teachers as a foreign language, math, science, or social studies, special education teachers, and so on. So yeah, I think this one also will have a very open-ended, field that you can apply. So as you can see over here, these are the field of studies that is applicable for Fulbright grants. So I think it's everything. It's just that, you know, it align with the country agenda, usually the country building agenda. Right. So these are the regulation. I think is going to be very small. Let us just visit MACEE.org. I think it's easier for us, right? So yeah, I know this is a bit boring in terms of the elaboration, but I think this is one of the must elaboration that we have to do. So if you go to the MACEE, you go to the Fulbright program. So you go here, and as you can see, you will have what is it? Yeah, we have two types. One is the Fulbright grants for American, and another one is the Fulbright grants for Malaysian. Let us go to the Fulbright grants for Malaysia first. Okay, if you go over here, these are the grants. Okay, and then okay, if we go one by one, if you look at the Malaysian graduate study, the first one. So this is opening. So the deadline is July 21st. Okay, so and these are the study that I mentioned just now: American studies, Malaysian studies, and so on. And the eligibility, so this is also important. So minimum bachelor degree and 3.0. So if you are you know, undergraduate, make sure your CGPA is a 3.0. So and then you have to sit for TOEFL, okay, and at least 100 IBT, okay. And then GMAT, GRE. For GMAT is for those who are taking management master studies, and then the GRE is for engineering. Depend on the university requirement, okay. And then we're gonna have a virtual interview, and then we have and then the following peoples are not eligible. In terms of the plagiarism, so the Fulbright program are very strict on in terms of this. So copy pasting plagiarism is not tolerated. So please make sure that, you know, when you apply, do not ask, you know, that it's one thing. For example, you know, you approach one of the past Fulbrighters, and you do you ask, for example, people ask me, do you have so-called sample of your application? Okay, okay, I have my application, you know, I can share it with you. But then, you know, you take those application and you copy paste into this new application. So I think that is not a good way to do that. It's not a good way. So all the application is through the online form over here. And in terms of this master study, I think there's not much required. It's only required university transcript and the degree certificate. Okay, so I'm not going to highlight much in terms of this one because this is quite straightforward. Okay, all right. Now the second one, where is it? Hey, where is it? Okay, so the second one is a Malaysian scholar program. This is the so-called, I call it the default Fulbright program for Malaysians. Okay, so Fulbright Malaysian scholar. So although it is closed, so but then, you know, just take note. Then maybe in December or something like that, it will be open again, and by, you know, by that time you are ready. So because why, let us look at the program itself. Okay, so the program, if you look over here, to undertake 3 to 6 months of research at the American University, and then while typically research applicants who are prepared to add lecturing. So this is more for the lecturers. So this grant Fulbright Malaysian Scholar Program, it is more for the researchers who are also lecturer. They want to lecture on something, all right? Further, all applicants will be asked to develop strategies for sharing Malaysian culture with social, civic, and other groups while in US. So the eligibility, so as you can see, for this program, you must be, of course, you must be Malaysian, and you must be a doctoral degree or you must be a PhD holders. So you must be a PhD holders, and you must have a minimum 5 years of working experience. Okay. And then, of course, number 4 is faculty members, sabbatical or other leave. So you must go there with a form of sabbatical. I'm going to share with you afterwards in terms of my own experience. So first, I'm going to share with you all these, requirements from the website. I'm going to share with you my own experience. Okay, some excellent record, proficiency in English, to propose lecturing. So this is another important issue. Proficient in English. I know some are not that proficient, so I think you need to practice yourself, or maybe but now because it's COVID right now, so we cannot travel overseas, right? So yeah, we have to find a way of how to practice our English so that it is an acceptable level. Okay, and then you mentioned about the field of study, but I think this is just a guide. American studies, Malaysian studies. This is just a guide because I think they accept other field also, science field, engineering field, because I know fellow Fulbrighters who are in the applied science and engineering. So yeah, so I think that is not a problem. Okay. And yeah, and I think that is the important part. And then another important part is this one. So of course, applicants are required to note lack of an adequate research proposal. So we have to take a note about this one. Must have a well thought out plan for research that demonstrate knowledge for approaching. Okay, for this term. Okay, applicants must have a well thought out plan for research that demonstrates knowledge of the field in general, as well as scientific method for approach the subject and knowledge of source of data in the US. So for this one, and then, and number 2 here, selection of proposed host institution without providing rational or copies of correspondence, or not mentioning any preference of affiliation. So I think this is the biggest hurdle among many of us. Okay, essentially, what does it say here is you must have one US counterpart. I mean, one professor in the US that by discussing with him, you are able to come up with a well thought out plan. Okay. So yeah, this one you have to take an initiative on this. So maybe you have to reach out through some mean so that we can discuss with the professor, and then and then put it in our application. And definitely lack of knowledge of English. Remember, we're gonna have a virtual interview. They will ask you during the interview. They ask you. They will ask you to give your opinion on things, and one or two things. So they will evaluate on your English communication as well. Okay. So this one is for the second one, which is the Malaysian Fulbright. So the Fulbright Malaysian program, okay, it's close. Yeah, we can wait for the next one. Why? Because usually when they when they announce it is open, usually it like 2 or 3 weeks before the due date. Okay, so 2 or 3 weeks before the due date, I don't think you can find the lecturer in US, unless he is your good friends or something like that. Right. So that is very important to look at this all these terms first. Okay. So that is the second one, Malaysian Scholar Program. The third one is a Malaysian Professional Exchange. So the professional exchange is not really for not really for lecturers, not really for professional. I mean, that is for professional. It's not for the lecturer or researcher per se. Okay. Nowadays, yeah, it is a 3 to 6 months program, and the purpose is to enable mid-career Malaysian professional in the public or private sector. So this is what I want to highlight over here. I think in terms of staff in UiTM, we have various type of staffs in UiTM. We have the lecturers, and then we have the administrative staff, and then assistant registrar and so on, senior assistant registrar and so on. I think this is I think we should also plan for these people to also apply. It is under the so-called Malaysian Professional Exchange Program. So this one is 3 to 6 months, enable mid-career Malaysian professionals in the public or private sector. But the person must have a master degree. So yeah, that's one thing. So the person must have a master degree or equivalent in the field of proposed program. Okay. And then you must have a detailed statement of proposed activity, and of course you must be of a minimum of 5 years of working, and good English, willing to share knowledge of Malaysia. Willing to share meaning that you're going to US, and then you have to give lectures or having a sharing session or things like that. Yeah. Okay. And again, the term over here is the same. Again, you need to have established a relation with US counterparts, so that we can have these well thought out plans. Because if we ask, for example, in the form, if we ask where do you want to go, who you gonna talk, I mean, who you gonna work with, and so on. So we must establish that first. Okay. And yeah, other thing are the same. Okay. And this one, okay, I think yeah, that's it that I want to highlight over here. And then these are for the teachers. Let's go to the Humphrey first. So we go to the Humphrey. This is one interesting program. It's a fellowship, one interesting program. So this one is actually for usually those who apply for this one are TNCs, vice chancellors, deputy vice chancellors, head of department. So usually they will apply for this program. But you can try. I think you can try. I mean, if you have a good record, active record in management and so on, then you can try this program. Okay, so this program, you will go to US and attend courses for like 2 semester of most of it is leadership courses. So a leadership courses under the Humphrey program. So they will assign you to certain university, and then you attend to the university. Not only you attend courses in the universities, you get the opportunity to meet lawmakers like the senators and so on in Washington DC. Okay, so this is an interesting one. And then you are into this area, human and institutional development, economic development, and so on, right and freedoms. I think you can read all on of this. Okay, so okay, so I think you can read all of this. I think I don't have anything to highlight over here. Okay, so it doesn't require, does it require any PhD? I don't think so. Must have a completed degree program, so it's not required to have a PhD. So I think there is one good news in terms of that. Okay, so yeah, I mean this one doesn't have to be a lecturer to apply for this program. Okay. All right. And then the next one is the one that I was awarded with, US ASEAN Visiting Scholar Program. It's already closed, but then you can prepare for that. The same thing, which is you have to start planning with your US counterpart with some discussion. But this time you are bringing the ASEAN agenda. You have to go to maybe ASEAN website and look at their agenda right now. What are the agenda? So in the MACEE they mentioned about the agenda over here. I think, but this is all is the dynamic, and because it depend on the ASEAN agenda. Okay. So again and again, you will have yeah, of course this one is more on the university faculty, foreign minister and government officials or professionals in private sector. So this is also quite open. Okay, but then it is more on the research. I think the research focus. So efficiency in English definitely. Yes. Okay. And then you can read all this over here, right? And then we have another one which is for the undergraduates. Okay, so the undergraduates for this is for a program where you go for an exchange program. Usually the undergraduate is you will spend 1 semester in US. This is like an exchange program. It's an exchange program for the student. They can do it in their final year or usually in their final year. Okay, but then the process it take about 1 year. So the a bit of dilemma in terms of UiTM is a bit of the dilemma, because it will take around almost 1 year for the whole process to go through. Meaning that if you want to go to the UGrad program, you have to apply during your first semester or second semester, because you are aiming at the fourth or fifth semester, something like that. Okay. So your ITM, because of the transfer from the diploma to the degree, you only started the semester in the third semester here in your ITM. Some of our students, what they did is they try to apply during their at the end of their diploma year. During at the end of diploma year, they try to apply for the UGrad program. So that is one strategy that they can do. Okay, a full-time undergraduate program, university. Okay, so yeah, this is a minimum of their first semester of study. Yeah, that is a big point over issue over here. Okay, and of course, and definitely, if the students want to go, okay, so for the UGrad, they're looking into your leadership. Definitely, they're looking at your leadership, but you must be able to explain yourself during the interview. So they're gonna have an interview. Okay, and then if during the interview you cannot talk, then well, I'm sorry, it's an unfortunate circumstances. So we have several candidates from UiTM. Some are very good in communicating their intention to go to US, but some unfortunately, because of English, we saw their portfolio, the application form is very good, but then when they enter the interview, they cannot talk, they cannot express themselves. For example, when we ask about what is their vision or something like that, so they cannot talk. So that is something that unfortunate lah, right? Okay, so these are the program. So this one is the cycle is in January and February. So January 4th and deadline is February 28th. So we have to the window is only one or 2 months over there, right? Okay, and then we have a side of this, because I do have teachers, I think, who are attending this event. I just gonna highlight just a bit on the for the teachers. So where is that? Over here. Okay. So we have for the teachers, we have I think at least two over here that specifically for the teachers. One is the foreign language teaching assistant, which is FLTA. So this one is also currently opening, and then it will be closed in July 23rd. Okay. And then this one, as you can see over here, this one is for what is it? I can see over here. So this one is teachers in the field of American Studies, Journalism, and Media, and American literature will also be considered in case by case. Okay, so it is increase their English language proficiency, extend their knowledge of the society and the culture of United States. Okay, while being teaching assistants for their native language to US. So these are I think the teachers can read it over here. Okay, there are also opportunities. So I know one teacher asked me about this question. Age profile, young, energetic. They are not asking about energetic. The energetic is fine. How about young? So young, so how young is young? I think I want to refer to Karen or Mr. Curtis maybe after this about this so-called young. What does it mean by young? Okay, so and then the field is but then yeah, again it says it supposedly is for the be teachers of English or training, but then here it says it's about you can this field can also apply art, communication. I think everything over here. I think a teacher or of various background can apply. Okay, and the last one is on the Teachers Excellence and Achievement Program. So this is another program which is for a 6-week program from January or okay. So these are you can expect, for example, January or September 2022 or those kind of thing lah. Right. Okay. So those are the thing that are available from the website. Yeah, of course, if I want to read all from the website, it's gonna be very lengthy. So because the talk today is about giving you some exposure on this Fulbright grants. Okay, so you can go here at the MACEE and look at those grants available. And one of the thing that I want to highlight that it always crop up is about the link with the US. So you must have at least someone from the US that will agree to be your host. That is the general one. Of course, how to do it, you can by default you email to people, right? So but then it is in practicality sense it may not make any sense. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to bring up the issue of after this. Let me continue with my slide. Okay, and then people ask me what is the actual journey looks like. What is the actual journey looks like? So this one especially for us academician, I think maybe it varies for the teacher, it varies for the grad students, but for the lecturers like us, I counted almost 13 steps that we have to follow. Okay, the process flow. Definitely the first one that you need to do is to establish a connection with your US counterparts. That's the first thing that you need to do. Okay, unless you have your buddy over there in US, you say hello, then yeah, fine. If not, you have to find a way, strategize on establishing connection with the US counterparts. And then number two, in my case, I'm preparing my proposal. So it's just a 5-page proposal. It's your normal research proposal, introduction, problem statement, and then maybe literature review and methodology, and expected results, something like that for five pages. And then we have, in my case also, I have to identify the support letter. So of course, we have we have some letters from the US counterparts. In our part, we also have a support letter. So in my case, I have a support letter from the dean of our faculty, okay, Prof. Azrina at that time. And then because I was attached to information technology, the division before this, Infotech, so I also obtained a letter from the deputy director of the IT department of UiTM. And I'm also fortunate to get one letter from the deputy minister at that time for the Ministry of Rural Development in Malaysia. And then I compile my document, degree, CV, my English proficiency. In my case, I have to do my I already have my IELTS, so I just submit my IELTS to them. I have my TOEFL, but that one during my student days 20 years ago. And then I fill the online form. So when you have all those forms are ready, you can fill the form, and then you attend the interview, and then there will be chat by, during my time is chat by the director, and there's some panelists from the Fulbrighters, and a representative from the Ministry of Education. So and yeah, that's this. There'll be some panels over there during the interview, and then my application is shortlisted in US ASEAN Secretariat, because mine is the US ASEAN, and then I received the result within the 3 months. So 3 months, the after I think the application started in October, and then by January I received that result, meaning that the acceptance of my application. Okay, at that point, now I'm applying for the leave. Then I applied the leave through writing letter to the TNCA, the SCA, the Halal Academic. Okay, through the dean. Okay, someone asking me a question. Okay, how do you establish connection with US? Okay, I'm going to show you. Just a moment, okay? I'm going to, okay, wait, there's a tips over here. I'm going to do that, right? Okay, so and then I have a briefing, and then some visa preparation, and then fly to Baton Rouge. From the flying occur in October. So the January I accept, I receive acceptance letter, and the process in UiTM that took me around almost 5 to 6 months. Okay, and then by June, by July, everything is clear, and then I flew in October. So that is the process, and then I fly to Louisiana, and then do my thing in Louisiana. So that is the 13 step that I have to take for the whole thing. And of course, I'm going to share you with some tips in terms of your project. The first tips is in terms of your project must relate to stated agenda. The higher its level, the better. Usually the agenda is you try to cover the community, the society, the nation building. That is the best way to go. Okay, and then follow, and of course you have to follow the expected field from the website. Okay, the tip number 2 is to invite the professor during those Fulbright US visiting scholar. Okay, so because now you need the professor, right? Then you don't know the professor, so what you can do, one of it is by joining, or inviting or visiting professor from US. Okay, so if you look at MACEE over here, okay, and the Fulbright programs, we have another program, which is this one. Now what? Why it doesn't appear? Okay. Okay, I think it's because of this. Okay, so if you look over here, you have Fulbright grants for American, right? So Fulbright grants for American, there is the Fulbright specialist program. See over here, the Fulbright specialist program. So this program is designed Okay. So Fulbright Specialist Program, this program is designed as a short-term or corporate traditional Fulbright Specialist Scholar will assign US academic experts to Malaysian institution for a period of 2 to 6 weeks in length. Okay, so this is one strategy that I do. Okay, this is one strategy that I did before, whereby I invite a professor from US. Okay, I'm sorry, which one? Okay, this one. Okay. So in 2016, actually, I invite you as a visiting scholar. So that one is under another grant, which is under Fulbright MCMC grant. So I get this Professor Dr. Victor Barika from the Southern University. So, I spend some time with him. I arrange some talk with him and so on. And he invited me. Why don't you come over to US? Okay, I prepare the document for you. Whatever requirement that is needed, I can arrange. I can be your host. So that is how I did it. Because the professor already agreed to me. So and then I have all the letters. That is how I do it. Okay. So what else do you want? Definitely. You want the slide? Definitely. That is how I establish my connection. Okay. Support letter from ministry and faculty. Well, the support letter, of course, faculty, I went to see the dean and say, Prof, can you give me a support letter? So she just said yes. The ministry is through personal contact. It's because because of that US visiting professor. The US visiting professor came to Malaysia because he's into this underserved project, people of B40, the M40, and looking into the rural area program. So I communicated with the Ministry of Rural Area. So that's how. And then after, when I asked, the officer, well, can I get support letter? I'm going to US in the continuation of the program. Oh no, no. They said, oh no, I'm going to give you the deputy minister letter instead of our the officer letter. I give you the ministry letter, the minister letter. Okay. So I think suffice to say, in terms of support letters and so on, yeah, you have to personally approach them and ask if they want to support you. But definitely, they should know you to certain extent, right, before they want to support you. Okay. For those who are reapplying, yeah, I think you need to apply and apply. Of course, I cannot, there is no formula, exact formula of a sure win because it depends on scenario, right? It depends on situation, because sometimes at this for this year, this is the scenario, and then you are eligible. The next year, then maybe the scenario different. I cannot I cannot give an exact way of that. I'm sorry, but what I'm going to say is just keep on applying, maybe for different program, right? All right, it's 10:04 already, right? Okay, I'm going to entertain more question right after another presentation by the three of us. So do network. Like the tips number 4 is do network, get involved with a world level association, fully utilize your international exposure. I think we're gonna have one round of sharing after this, and then afterwards we can have another question session. All right. But depend on faculty's budget. Is it so? I'm surprised to know that. I don't think there is a faculty budget involved. We talk about it later, right? Because I think we just stop first here, okay, and then we have another session of a sharing session, and then we can have a question answer again. Okay, that will be all from me for the first part. Okay, thank you for listening and bearing with me. I pass back the session to Dr. Rozana.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fakhrul, for a very
Okay.
detailed explanation. Good explanation on the all the Fulbright grants opportunities. To audience, if you have more questions, you just type in the chat box and we will address the question later. And just for now, we have the sharing session. Joining us today are the three amazing speakers. A good opportunity to hear and listen from their invaluable experience. They are from three different organizations. So let me just share with you their brief short biography. So Professor Dr. Ramesh T. Subramaniam is a professor in Department of Physics, Faculty of Science, University Malaya. So Professor Dr. Ramesh is a material scientist experienced in preparation, development, and characterization of polymer and polymer electrolytes as a source of energy for use in various electrochemical devices. The novelty of his research was the successful invention of highly adhesive polymer membranes, environmentally friendly polymer electrolytes and techniques in the fabrication of green electrochemical devices. Prof. Ramesh is well recognized in his field, internationally and locally, evidenced by the many international and national awards he has received. He was selected as a TWAS Young Affiliate Fellow in 2009 by the World Academy of Sciences, one of the 5 from the South and Southeast Asia and Pacific region. He also received the UTAR Annual Research Excellence Award in 2009. In 2010, he received the FAAM Young Scholar Award from the American Chemical Society, and in 2011, the Young Scientist Award from IUPAC. In 2012, he received the IAP Young Scientist Award, and the following year was selected as a Young Scientist of the Global Young Academy, GYE. In 2014, he was selected as one of the top research scientists in Malaysia. It was a great honor for him to be elected as a Fellow of the Academy of Sciences Malaysia, ASM, in 2016. And in the same year, he received the International Association of Advanced Material Scientists Medal, IAAM Scientist Medal, from the International Association of Advanced Material. In 2017, he was conferred the Established Scientist Award by Royal Society and also elected as a Fellow of Royal Society of Chemistry, RSC. He is also a recipient of the Fulbright Fellowship 2017 with a tenure at the Princeton University, USA as a visiting fellow and a recipient of the International Senior Research Fellowship 2018 at Durham University, UK, where he had a tenure as visiting senior fellow. He was awarded the MTSF Science and Technology Award by Malaysia Torres Science Foundation, MTSF, in 2018. He has also been honored the University of Malaya Excellent Lecturer Sciences Award 2019. In 2020, he was recognized and placed as world top 2% scientist for career long citation impact by Stanford University. On the global front, he was the invited scientist for World Science Forum and World Economic Forum. He has won awards in several innovation exhibitions such as ITEX, BioMalaysia, MTE, and Percipta. He walked away with the Best of the Best award during Percipta 2013. He also won the Gold and Special Award during Malaysia Technology Expo 2020. His major contribution to society is through the service and knowledge as a young scientist of the Global Young Academy. He has contributed under the Science for Youth and Global State of Young Scientist programs, which focuses on development of science and technology among the youths of this world and to study the problem faced by mainly third world countries on these issues. I'm sure Prof. Ramesh has a lot to share today, but let's move on to the next speaker. Again, Dr. Fakhrul Hazman Yusoff. Dr. Fakhrul is a senior lecturer in the Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Science, Universiti Teknologi Mara, UiTM. He is also a recipient of US Asian Fulbright Visiting Scholar for 2017 to 2018 and visiting full professor at Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He graduated with BAc in Management Information System from Cass Western Reserve University, Ohio, USA in 1998. He earned his MSc in Information Technology from Universiti Putra Malaysia UPM in 2001 and obtained his PhD in Computer Graphics in 2010 from Universiti Putra Malaysia. He was the chair of the IEEE Malaysia Computer Chapter from 2014 to 2015 and Computer Society IEEE Distinguished Visitor under IEEE Distinguished Visitor Program from the term 2017 to 2019, whereby he gave lectures to institutions around the world under the banner of IEEE. So he is currently the president of Fulbright Alumni Association Malaysia, FAAM, for the term 2020 to 2022. In terms of research, he is focusing on several areas, including gamification, Internet of Things. Blockchain with his latest endeavor includes implementation of the said area in supply chain and cloud environment. He is an AWS certified cloud practitioner since 2020. All in all, he is always on the lookout to leverage the knowledge he acquired throughout his more than 20 years of working experience for the betterment of the society in general. Okay, I will just read a short biography from our last speaker. Our third speaker will be Miss Reena. So Miss Reena is graduated in BBA in Oil and Gas Management from the UCSI University in 2015. She had the opportunity to go to the University of Montana, I believe is under the Student Exchange Program, in September 2015 under the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative Academic Fellowship, U.S. Department of State Scholar. For your information, Ms. Reena is a recipient of the Fulbright Scholar, where she had the opportunity to work on a project entitled The Role of Energy Storage for Hoosier Energy in the O'Neill School of Public Environmental Affairs, Indiana University in May 2020. Ms. Reena worked as a Shell business operation for 2 years, in 2016 to 2018. In 2019, Ms. Reena worked as an energy consultant to the U.S. Embassy of Kuala Lumpur in Bloomington, Indiana, USA. In addition to that, Reena was working on the greenhouse gas inventory analysis in Gary, Indiana, USA. So currently, Ms. Reena is working as the Associate Climate Change and Sustainability Services from Ernst & Young since July 2020. So let's hear their invaluable experience. I would like to pass the webinar to Professor Dr. Ramesh. Prof. Ramesh, the stage is yours.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh yes, loud and clear.
Okay, let me share my slide first.
Yes,
then
please.
let me know whether you can see or not.
I can see them now. Probably put it in the presentation mode, please.
Wait, 1 minute. Can you see the slides?
Yes, I can see them now.
Okay. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for giving the opportunity to share with you all about my experience. So I'm Ramesh Subramaniam from Universiti Malaya. I'm as one of the Fulbright visiting scholar at Princeton University in US. So during the briefing, Dr. Fakhrul, my good friend, he told that this Fulbright visiting scholar is actually not only focused on the certain field, it's for what do you call all the other fields also. So you can look here that what do you call the title that I got my Fulbright is Sustainable Energy Storage, Innovative Polymer Electrolytes. So beginning to share my experience, I will talk about my research. Then I'll go more on other things. Okay, just a brief introduction. So what kind of research that I was doing in Princeton University. As you know, we use liquid electrolytes in many of electrochemical devices. For like a layman term, I can say like our handphone batteries. For the handphone batteries, like a lithium-ion batteries means we know the electrolyte that we are using is liquid electrolytes. And these liquid electrolytes are very harmful, corrosive, and short shelf life, and even can undergo explosion and so on. Okay, so how to overcome this? So that is my research. So you can see here, to overcome the liquid electrolyte, the best will be the change the liquid to become as a solid. So the best solid that we can replace the liquid will be the polymer. But unfortunately, polymers are insulated. So the main research that we conducted there is how to make the polymer to become as a conductor, and like our lithium polymer battery, by adding like a lithium ion or appropriate additives, we can convert the electrolyte become as a what do you call like a insulator to become as a conductor, and then they will show variety of properties like a thermally stable, easy to handle, light in weight, flexible, and so on. Okay, that's the main part of my research. So I don't think I need to elaborate more about the research that I have done there. So let me go for other experiences that I had during my Fulbright. So once you get the Fulbright, that is the beauty of the Fulbright, because you'll be exposed with the many different opportunities that might be difficult, or we might not have the opportunity to get it from in our local institutions. So one of the things that I attended was a annual meeting for the Adlinger Center for Energy and the Environment and Princeton E-Affiliate Partnership. So Adlinger Center for Energy and the Environment is a center which I attached to in the Princeton University. So you can see in the what do you call like the first page. So this picture actually took in front of that particular center. So this e-affiliate partnership, it's something like very new for me, where professors, researchers, students, and industry leaders come together to hear the latest in energy and environmental technologies and solutions. And there were president of the Environmental Defense Fund. He came and gave a talk on the 3 reasons for hope in the fight to solve climate change. So these kind of interesting talks will be also will be invited to take part as a guest. And on top of that, so as we know, Princeton University is one of the Ivy University, and the acceptance rate is less than 6%. And as a Fulbright scholar, we will be invited to take part in their graduate student symposium. So these will give the opportunities to explore various research conducted in Princeton University, and it also bring us to the next level for our research compared to what we are doing here. And then also, beside doing research, there also a lot of very interesting fun and activities. Like our Endlinger Center, we had a holiday reception and also holiday lunch with my research group. Okay, this is a research group that I attached to. So you can see in the far corner is the professor who invited me. She's a Prof. Lin Lu. In the introduction part, like Fakhrul mentioned, the what do you call the connection is very important. The networking is very important. I came to know Prof. Lin Lu during the Global Young Academy meeting, because both of us are selected young scientists for that Global Young Academy. So we met there and we talked about some research collaboration. So that's how I got to know her, and she invited me for this program. And we have a research group meeting in the center. And one of the interesting things that also I learned from there is we have the group meeting. So the group meeting, not just to discuss about the students, what do you call it, the best things, and also this one. So we also got like a 3 type of talks to be given by the students. One, each week, one student will give a talk on the literature survey. The literature survey is involved whatever things that they learn and they'll come and present. And second, the results and discussion session. So this one, the students will present the result that they obtain. And the third one, also very interesting things, we call as a tutorial session. So students will go and learn something, what do you call like online or whatever. They'll come and share their experience. This not necessary, this tutorial need to be like a scientific or like related to your studies. So for example, in one of the section, one of the students presented on the beauty of yoga. So why we must do yoga and this kind of things. And the other time, one students talk about like a different type of exercise that can be done to make your brain active. So this kind of a tutorial is very interesting. And also I was invited to give an invited talk at Princeton University. I give a talk on the polymer electrolytes and NeoHope. And then I also have the opportunity to conduct many experiments like by myself. So that means that they will train you first, then they will allow you to use the train. So the hands-on training is very interesting there. So I did some work with the XPS, and based on the results that we obtained, we managed to publish a good journal in electrochemical actor, which is impact factor more than 6. So this is a paper. And then you can see we have an author from Princeton University too. And then beside that, I have completed the course operation of a 7 equipment in Imaging and Analysis Center at Princeton University, to name few, like a thermo analysis equipment, XPS, SEM, environmental SEM, TEM, atomic force microscope, Raman spectrometer, and all these things. The best thing is they will give you a specific training. Even labs, these things have, but I never attend the training, but they will give you like a one-to-one training to work on the equipment. Then they allow you to use the equipment too. And all these things are free of charge. And I also have the opportunities to fabricate perovskite solar cell, and we managed to attain the efficiency of 11%. And they got like a clean room, which is a well advanced facilities. So it was a well trained for me also. From that training and some discussion, we found a new hybrid device we call as a supercapacitor. I proposed this device to them, and we are actively doing some research work on this, which combine the properties of batteries and supercapacitors. In terms of the personal development, personality, positivity, and achievement, you can see I've attended laboratory safety training. So this laboratory safety training actually gave us a different type of the safety things that we need to conduct compared to what we learn here. So this will be also like an added advantage for our knowledge. And once we come back, we can also share this information to our lab members. So other presentations that I attended are many. Some of the very interesting is not from my field, but it's very interesting for us to find other fields and what they are doing. And for example, the crumple state, that means even like by crumpling a paper also the energy will be transferred. So how these parameters can be learned. So these are something very interesting, because sometimes we crumple the paper and we just throw in the dustbin, but even the crumple state also got some kind of energy transfer, energy storage there, some thermodynamics there. So it's very interesting. And I also went for like a wind energy talk, some from the minister's talk, and then like all air low temperature printed electronics, and the photovoltaics talk, and regarding the photonic nanojet application of solid state NMR, then advancing energy storage through materials, which is related to my field. And I attended some policy talks also, which is very important when we are applying to grants. And then like a high rate micromechanical behavior, and then the colloidal machine, and from atom to microgrid. This is another new knowledge for me too. And then picking materials that make a difference, and nanomaterials in operando conditions. This is also quite interesting. And beside I working on the Princeton University, I also got the invitation through this Fulbright program to attend a talk in other universities. Where one of the universities that invited me was a City University in New York. Prof. Greenbaum, he invited me to give a talk in this in a university and also share my experience with the members. So that was a very interesting, and we still have some collaboration with them. And next, beside the research, I also wanted to share with you the campus life. So as a Fulbright scholar, the Princeton University Faculty and Staff Day invited me and gave me a complimentary ticket to watch a match, Princeton Tigers football team versus San Diego. So their football is different from the football that we are playing here. Our football, they call that as a soccer. So this football is American football. So, and also they gave a jersey to support the Princeton. You can see in the picture that I'm wearing that. And then Fulbright also invited me to experience some American life, where Fulbright Scholar event. This was organized by One to World. This One to World is a non-profit organization which they really organize many interesting programs, and they are based in New York. And Princeton University is very close to New York. And all these things like free of charge. And not only they sponsor the Fulbright Scholar, they also sponsor the family of the Fulbright Scholar. So I enjoyed all these places with my family too. And the first thing they gave me is advancing international understanding in the Fulbright tradition by doing the Explore New York City Fulbright Scholar bus tour. So this was the first social activity I participated upon arriving in Princeton, and it's very interesting and also very useful. Then community service. When we talk about the community service, my children attended the Community Park Elementary School, and to attending the school and joining the school is very straightforward and very simple. The first day I arrived at Princeton University, next day I went to the school and immediately I got admission for my kids to start schooling. So that easy is there. And we had the opportunity to participate in school activities like Halloween parade, parent-teacher activity, and school talks. So both of my boys were in the schools in the Princeton University, and it's a very interesting school also. And other experiencing America under the Fulbright Scholar Enrichment Program, they also took us to the DIA, the Beacon Arts Center tour, and apple picking. And we traveled to the Hudson River Valley to visit a modern art museum and enjoy the fall foliage at the local apple orchard in fish scale farms. And on top of that, I also had the opportunity to get the complimentary ticket under this program to visit the White House with my family. So you can see some of the pictures inside the White House. So this is what they call as a White House tour. So it's very limited the number of seats to be kept. So I'm lucky to get one of the things under this program too. And to conclude this, I gained a lot of new knowledge on materials architecture and characterization during my tenure in Princeton University. And we have obtained very promising results, which was published in good journal. My skill in microscopic analysis, like I said, hands-on analysis was really trained very well there, has improved tremendously too. And I managed to get some new knowledge on perovskite solar cell fabrication. And this fellowship also provided the intellectual seed for new collaborative projects. Because after I finished my Fulbright Scholar in Princeton University, I managed to get my Durham scholarship also in UK. So this fellowship, the Fulbright Fellowship, is really very valuable and will add colors to your CV. So I really encourage you all to try to apply for this program. And before I end my presentation, I would like to thank you, the Fulbright Fellowship, MACEE, Princeton University, the Imaging Analysis Center, the National Science Foundation, and Prof. Lin Lu, my host, Edlinger Center for Energy and Environment, and Miss Kalishwari. Miss Kalish is very, very helpful. If anybody wanted to apply for any Fulbright Fellowship program, you can contact Miss Kalish. She will help you from A to Z, from the first day you apply until you come back and submitting your progress report. Should be very useful. And not forgetting the taxpayers who really sponsor our trip and everything. And also not forgetting UiTM and Dr. Fakhrul for inviting me to share my experience with you all. Thank you again. And then this is the team that I work in Princeton University. So I've given my UM email ID. So if you all got any questions or any doubts or any personal guidance, you can always contact me. I'm there to guide you to achieve your goals. So with that, thank you again.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Ramesh, for a very beautiful and exciting experience that you share with us today. So when you said Princeton University, it really gave me goosebumps. Yeah, but I think it's okay to aim high and dream big. Don't you think so? So yes. So we're moving on to our second speaker, Dr. Fakhrul Hazman.
Okay, thank you.
It's yours, Doctor.
Dr. Ramesh, unshare already, Prof. Ramesh?
What is it?
Is unshare. Okay.
I'm looking how to answer.
Oh, is it? I just click share. Someone is doing hogging the line. You are hogging the line. I think you the share.
Maybe let me cancel. Is it gone?
Not yet. You have to go up there. Okay. Now something moving. It's still there.
Still there?
You have to go up there. On the top. On the top. There is some stop sharing or something.
Is there only share contents, share web browser, share my meeting? Only 3 there, there is no stop sharing.
If you click share, what did you say?
Share, the other one is cancel share.
Cancel
share. Cancel share? What?
Maybe.
Still coming there. Wait. Let me. Okay, stop sharing.
Okay.
Now.
All right.
Sorry for that.
Thank you,
It's
Prof.
okay. All right. Okay, thanks, Prof. Okay, share my screen. I'm going to be very quick. So in my case, I went to Black University. So that is, because the study that I'm proposed is we are looking into the economic aspect of the slightly backward states in US. I'm not going to say backward because the GDP is still very high, but relative to US, that is a big backward in terms of US. So I'm looking into the so-called how the community in Baton Rouge, for example, are using Facebook and for their marketing of their product. So how the business over there conduct a business using the Facebook. That is what I was researching on. So I was under the US ASEAN visiting scholar. So I think I'm going to skip this. I already mentioned about this before, right? In terms of the field. So it's about community and the ASEAN agenda. And then, of course, one special thing about US ASEAN is because the grant is supervised by US ASEAN Secretariat, which is in Jakarta. So I was awarded the certificate in Jakarta. So I have to go to Jakarta for the award ceremony. We have the US ASEAN ambassador over there. And then I went to Southern University between October 2017 and January 2018 in Baton Rouge. I was stationed in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and attached to International Center for Information Technology and Development, ICITD. Okay, so this is the university. And then over there, I was appointed as the research cluster leader for MIS group, overseeing postgraduate research work and conducting talk, seminar, and training. So, in other words, in certain aspect, maybe UiTM is more advanced than the university that I went to. So, in that sense, so I give them advice or share the input of experience. For example, OBE, we have OBE, right? What's that? The OBE again, OBE here, OBE there. So they are also in the process of the OBE documentation. I share on those. So I was assigned with some postgraduate students over there, and I do research with the access from reference USA database. So the university has the access. It's quite simple for me. There are lots of things, but straightforward. So the task is to lead research clusters and chair weekly research discussion for the postgraduate of the center. And the first goal is to publish more than 2 papers at Louisiana Academy of Science. That is the tradition over there. So this is my appointment letter. I arrived there. They give me one appointment letter to lead the postgraduate. So this is some of the pictures over there. And this is a black university. So of course, the first is I'm quite intimidated, because the guys are burly and big, very tall guys. But after a while, I mean, it's okay because they respect the lecturers, the professors. So I feel comfortable, working around. All right, and then so those are my routine would be postgraduate seminar that I have to conduct. So on this one is on the writing research report. And these are some of the examples of my lectures that I have to give. Okay, and I also conduct a SPSF workshop over there. And then like Prof Ramesh, we are also required to attend the Fulbright Scholars Enrichment Program, where they will gather all the Fulbrighters participants from all over the world. So you have it all, you name it, from Russia, Brazil, Argentina, Nepal, Japan, you name it, they have it. South Korea, China, they have it. So I took this opportunity to socialize myself and network together. So just for example, so these are one of the networking session that I have in San Diego. San Diego over here, and then some pictures on San Diego. So in San Diego, what we have is we went to this Logan Street. It's one of the case study that they exposed to us in terms of the economic initiative being done by the government of America. I mean, specifically in San Diego, how they develop the Logan Street. So Logan Street used to be, very high in terms of the crime rate. And then afterwards, they empower the population through economic programs, and then slowly it become to be a sustainable township. It's a very interesting case in Logan Street. So these are some of the another pictures in San Diego enrichment program. Right. And then these are the group that attended that San Diego program. In fact, we have a WhatsApp group. Until today, we have WhatsApp group with these people. I do communicate with them. They have their program. They invited me in the program. And then over here we have, and then back to Baton Rouge, we have some other activities. So I'm going to talk very fast. I just some pictures over here. And I also took the opportunity to reach out to some of the professors that I know. Professor David Allen Greer over on the right. I know him like for almost 10 years already. So he was he's still a professor in George Washington University. So I went there to say hi because I'm active in IEEE, Institute of Electrical Engineer. So he is one of the past chair of the society. So he took me for walking around George Washington University and Washington DC. Yeah, okay. And back to Baton Rouge. So in the end, we produced 17 publications. So the target is for 2. We got 17. and the university is very pleased about that because before this we don't usually they have like 3 to 4. It's not their culture. They try to inculcate the culture of the research. Now we have like 17, so it's very good. In the end, I also have to give presentation to the academicians, so the university. So they invited the university to listen to my talk also. So yeah, and then they give me the visiting full professor, issue this professor award to me for. Okay, and when I come back, I joined the alumni, and I still do communicate with people all over the world. I think that's the best thing about Fulbrighters is about connecting yourself with people all over the world. Okay, so thank you. That is what I can share today. Okay, I pass back to Rozana, Dr. Rozana.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Fakhrul, for a very interesting sharing experience that you have for the Fulbright grant. So today, for our third speaker, Miss Reena, I'm sure you are ready. So over to you, Miss
Yes.
Reena.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you able to see my screen?
Not yet. I think it's starting to share the content. Yeah,
Okay,
I can see.
can see now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Rozana. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. My name is Reena. Today, I'll be presenting about my Fulbright journey under the program of Fulbright Malaysian Graduate Study and Research. I was in the United States for 2 years. With the scholarship, I was able to pursue my master degree in public affairs in the Indiana University of Bloomington. Okay, so there are three main things I would like to highlight for today's session. The first thing is why Fulbright. The second is the application process of the program that I applied to. And third is my personal experience as a Fulbrighter in the United States. So first, of all the scholarship in the world, why Fulbright? I think you might ask that, right? So I think also to reiterate what Dr. Fakhrul also have mentioned earlier on and Mr. Curtis. So what it means to be a Fulbrighter is you are able to participate in the largest US exchange program, not only to pursue your master degree, but also for your advanced research. And second, you're able to build and expand your network, joining more than 300,000 Fulbrighters alumni in over 160 countries worldwide. It's huge. And lastly, to be able to represent Malaysia international level to promote a mutual understanding through education with the fellow Americans in the United States. So the overview of the application process for my program, usually it will open from April till June. July will be the submission to MACEE. So you definitely have plenty of time to prepare. So the requirement is you have to do an essay on personal statement and study objective on top of the application form that you have to fill out. So for personal statement, basically you have to write an essay to talk about you, explain your strengths, your weaknesses, your career plan, and also your experience. Your study objective will be looking at why do you want to pursue that graduate study, and how do you plan to achieve it. At the same time, you have to be really specific on knowing what do you want to do, and to be able to then link it back, how can you then contribute back to your country with that studies. For letter of reference, there were 3 during my time. I do believe it's still 3 at the moment. That's where you will need to seek people that know you well in a professional capacity to be able to write a good recommendation for you. For TOEFL and GRE, it's definitely recommended to do it before you submit your application in July. Okay, so once you submit in July, September is when MACEE will call you for an interview if you're shortlisted. And then the interview of the result will be on that month or the following month. In October and December, it's the submission plan. So this is when IIE, Institute of International Education, will come into the picture, where they will then help you to apply your application to the universities in United States. So basically, you don't have to do anything at this moment, at this particular time, because the IIE, which is the third party that handle the application, will then help you to apply to all the universities that is shortlisted in your application, or the one that they have recommended for you. In January to April is when interview for the university. There are some universities that not required for an interview, so it depends. And then from June to end of June to early July, you will be getting your university offer, and that's when you'll be start preparing to fly off to the United States. And in July, you will also be invited to join enrichment seminar, or also a gateway seminar in understanding the American culture before going to your university to pursue your studies. Okay, I can answer the questions later during the Q&A if you have any question on the process. Okay, next. So this is my personal experience. So basically, it's definitely an experience that I will always remember and cherish. First is able to foster new friendship from different countries. I'm still also contacting with my fellow American friends and also my fellow Fulbrighters right now. Second, I met distinguished professor, experts in their field. It's a bit of culture shock for me when I first attended my study in US, because I studied my undergraduate in Malaysia. So definitely it's a different nature of study, which is like in US, it's very based on group work, discussion based, critical thinking, more into reading materials a lot before you even attended the classes. Adapted to a new normal as Muslims. As you all know, in US, it's very hard to find a small prayer room or a musalla, a surau to pray. So that's when you have to be creative in able to perform your prayers. For example, going to the shopping mall, you have to probably pray in the dressing room or in the changing room, or even when you go travel, you probably have to pray like a small stairs or hallway. So yeah, so that's a bit of experience there. Seasonal depression, I was quite fortunate to be able to experience all the 4 seasons in the Indiana where I was living. So it sometimes can be very deceiving, the weather. It can look very sunny from my bedroom, but when I go outside, it's basically very cold and very windy and breezing. You can feel it through your face. So you have to go back to your room and get another 2 or 3 layers to be able to embrace that, just to go for a grocery shopping. So that's a bit of seasonal depression. And I do remember I bought a warmer blanket because I couldn't take the cold. So I was sleeping with a warmer blanket for like few months to be able to adjust the different season and all. And also traveling to different states and to be able to experience the American culture. Okay, so for next one, so basically this is my school, the O'Neill School of Public Environmental Affairs. These are the many classes that we have in our school. The bottom last is the group picture with my fellow classmates and also our client during our final research project. During the summer break, I had that opportunity to work with City of Gary in Indiana, where I was helping the city to conduct its first greenhouse gas inventory. So the findings from the inventory that I did helped the city to formulate its reduction emission goals. So if you can see the bottom left is a picture with the then Mayor Karen Freeman. It was a very interesting experience for the 3 months that I had. Definitely definitely a worth sharing moment. Okay, for the academic experience, the first top picture, the highlight was my classmate and I were able to present our research on energizing renewable in East Malaysia to the then Ambassador Kamala Shirin Lakdir with her colleagues. We were presenting via Skype on what we have for the US Embassy in Malaysia to consider. I was also able to visit the United Nations HQ in New York during the climate change summit, where where Secretary General of UN Antonio Guterres and also Greta Thunberg were presented. I had a few other occasions where I presented about Malaysia to my fellow classmates and also to the fellow Fulbrighters to showcase what we have in Malaysia and ultimately to maybe attract them to come to visit Malaysia one day. And also other opportunity like seminar and also forum that I joined on top of the classes that I have to attend. For the glimpse of American life, I think it's also the same sharing like Professor Ramesh and also Professor Fakhrul on Thanksgiving. I had the experience to join the vegan party where they made all the food vegan. Also my first pumpkin carving Christmas party and also Halloween party where I was donning Wonder Woman costume during the Halloween. And other fun activities, for example, like skiing, attended the football and also basketball game, cycling also. I went networking with other Fulbrighters from the Indiana chapter itself, and other fun activities that probably not enough to put here. And lastly, although I was there for just 2 years, I was able to visit about 17 states. So out of all that, is, for example, like New York, the Coca-Cola Museum in Georgia, the Grand Canyon, and also the Niagara Falls, the Space Museum, the Space Center in Houston, Disney World is in Florida, and also the Golden Bridge in San Francisco. That's all about me, about my presentation for today. Do feel free to reach out to my email or my LinkedIn if you have any follow-up questions on the program that I attended. I also did a presentation sharing on Fulbright as well last year under the Institute for Informasi, Polity and Democracy. You can check out the video as I was recorded in their Facebook. Okay, thank you. Handing it over back to you, Dr. Rozana.
Okay, thank you, Miss Reena. Such a very wonderful experience sharing. So nice, very beautiful, very exciting one. You to us, Malaysian, yeah. Probably if you have any question to all our speakers for today, you can just direct throw it out in our chat box or just I'm not sure the admin if you can let the I don't think because this is Facebook, yeah, unless you are in the WebEx. So we have Mr. Johnson here, Miss Karen also here to answer any of your questions if you have any.
Yeah, I think while we're waiting for questions, I just maybe want to highlight in terms of the young and energetic requirement. Young. So what is young? I mean, is it 45 young? Maybe someone can.
I am happy to address that. And as somebody who is closer to 45 than 21, young at heart definitely it is a barometer. I think when it comes to our interviews, and so this is a great opportunity to kind of talk through our interview process. I think historically, interviews for these programs have been done in person. Due to the pandemic, we want to continue programming, and so a lot of things have been switched to virtual. And it is extremely difficult to not only participate, as we've seen today, in a virtual program with so many moving parts, but it's also extremely difficult to participate in an interview where there are multiple people, coming at you with questions in maybe not your native language. And so I believe if you're attempting to be involved in these programs, you're passionate about your work and what it is you want to do with the work. If you bring that out more than anything else, it doesn't matter age, origin, or whatever the circumstances, you are the individual we want for the program. And I would also like to express that we don't only want the front end, of you going to the program and experience the program, but there's also a responsibility upon your return. How many other applicants are you involving? How many people have you had engagements like this, whether it be with MACEE, whether it be with the embassy or the Ministry of Education or Higher Education, or your university or your social groups, where you are our diplomats, our ambassadors for the work that we do. So independent of age and in number, it is the energy, it is the passion that you exude that definitely has the opportunity to set you apart.
All right. Thanks for the answer.
Excuse me. There is one question actually, because we talk about US. I'm sorry, probably a little bit sensitive issue we are talking about here, because as we know that how to correctly phrase this question, because we know that there's a lot of racism issues in US, Islamophobia. So the question is, I think Miss Reena will be the right person, or maybe Mr. Johnson can add later on. As a woman wearing hijab, practice Islam in US, how difficult it is, from the perception from from the people around you, how they accept you as you are. Thank you.
Right. I think I was fortunate enough to be in Bloomington, where they were open with hijabi Muslimah. It wasn't. I don't remember any occasion where I was being treated differently. I was definitely being included on any of all the occasion. When I was in City of Gary, that was a bit different because there were not many Muslims in the city. So I had that few looks, just a bit of look, but nothing harmful. At some time with my colleagues, because I was in City of Gary and I was also fasting during Ramadan. So I was doing internship while fasting. So they were very, very understanding that I had to pray. They also give me some place in the office, like a storeroom to do my prayer, and also understand that if because I'm fasting, so they don't really eat in front of me. They do understand that. So it was definitely a conversation that you have to be able to do it. It's uncomfortable at first, but I think along the way, with the conversation, with the right attitude that you want to also share your culture and your religion, we definitely meet in the middle. But I was thankful during the traveling as well. There wasn't any occasion that I was being feeling feeling like harm or things like that. No. So I was quite thankful with that. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Miss Reena. Probably Mr. Johnson want to add some more. Probably experience in another state. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I may have a little bit of background on this issue. As I think everybody can gather, I am an African American. And so that brings a interesting set of circumstances as well in the United States, but also in here in Malaysia. And so what I will say is I'll start with my experience here in Malaysia and just throughout Southeast Asia. As was mentioned earlier, I've worked the last 5 or 6 years in Southeast Asia. As you can see behind me, my family is all African American. My kids have lived more in Asia than they have in the United States. And the way my family and I approach things is that we are diplomats 100% of our experience here, wherever we go, whatever the circumstances are. If you see a group of 10 expats walking down the street during MCO, there's a good chance if 8 of them are Caucasian and my wife and I are the 2 African Americans, you're going to remember the 2 of us versus the other 8. So we, Dr. Fakhrul, I can appreciate that.
Yes.
And so what I say that to say, globally, one of the things I've understood and learned is what American media has put forth in the world about my people, whether it be through the news, entertainment, sport, may or may not be in line with who I am as an individual. And I would say the same thing when it comes to different cultures in the United States. What people are fed is where they start from. But I would also say that, much like Reena said, university campuses are really just an amalgamation of the world. It's everybody from all over the world. It's not just Malaysia. It is Europe, it is the Caribbean, it is South America in these university settings. So you are never, as an international student, alone. But you are also, this is educational diplomacy. There's the education part that you're receiving, but there's also the diplomatic, mission that you are allowing people into a space that they're unfamiliar with. And so it is an opportunity as opposed to a potential fear. And again, that goes back to who we're looking for. We are looking for people to be ambassadors to diversity and differences, because there's an opportunity for both sides to learn and go back to their communities and make the world a better place.
All right. Yes, I agree with Mr. Johnson. Actually, sometimes the media is, not all the news on the media is true. Am I right? Yeah, because actually, when I had opportunity to pursue my study in UK last time, when I met all the African friends, it really changed my perspective towards them. Because I'm sorry to say this, because I'm always exposed to the American film, the black people is the one who is criminals and all those kind of things. But when my time in UK, it was totally different people. They are very gentlemen. Yeah, I have to say this.
Well, I thank you, Rozana, because yes, the you would not have known that had you not been in the UK, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that vehicle allowed you the opportunity for growth and perspective.
Mhm.
And conversely, you have no idea how much they grew by your presence as well. And so that's what the importance of these programs are at their very base and very core.
Mhm.
It is making our world smaller and growing our understanding.
Yeah. Exactly. And we have another opinion from Dr. Siti Nur Amalina Muhammad Halidi. I do not know if this helps, speaking from someone who had undergrad in the US, but I think choosing the right place with a more diverse culture, religious, ethnicity, and such, people will help. But then again, it's a tricky situation to deal with, really. So I will agree with Mr. Johnson. Again, this is, you have to face it. You have to be there. Then only you know how these people's, reacting to you. Yeah, and I'm sure we are living in a better US nowadays. Can I say that? Yeah. All right.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, I think why we wait for some more question. I just want to highlight a few of my earlier points. I think one of the big issue among us is about the requirement is you need to know people from US, to fill the form, the host institution and whatnot. So, like I said, one of the approach would be the US visiting professors. So you invite the US visiting professors over here. I would, plea upon all the faculties here. I know we have some decision makers over here. I think we should plan that. Okay, do not just simply say we don't have money. You see, you don't have money. I mean, because the visiting scholar can be as short as like 14 days, only for 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, and I think they're not going to be very fussy. I think you can ask them. I mean, they're not going to be like 5-star hotel, red eye sauce, those kind of demand. I think it's doable. You need to allocate some money, right? I mean, we have to consider this as an investment, right? If not, how can we move forward? I mean, the network is very important. Another thing that I want to say is, yeah, we need to be in my in my way. I'm active. I'm active in so-called world level organization as a computer scientist. As a lecturer in computer science, I'm active in IEEE Computer Society. So IEEE Computer Society, we have it in Malaysia. So you become one of the members. You don't have to be the main committee. You just be one of the member, and then you can propose some activities with a banner. And then you can take this opportunity to hook up with a professor from US. That is what I did with a professor David Greyer. He's from George Washington University. So I know him like for some time already. So that's my second option really, actually, if I want to apply for the next Fulbright, for example, right? So because I know him, so that is another. So be active in so-called extracurricular activity. Meet people. One thing about Malaysians, Malaysian felt that they are they are not at the world level. No, we are at the world level. Malaysians are at the world level. Okay, so please do not think that you are still at your village or we are small. No, no. Okay, if you go to US, you will meet with so many people. Filipinos, Indonesians, Myanmar, Thailand, you name it. Everyone's are there except Malaysia. Except Malaysia. But yeah, that's the thing. It's a global village already that we have to expose ourselves to the US. To the world. I mean, and don't be afraid about it. I mean, we are hesitant about it. No, I mean, well, it's a global world. Okay, so please, make yourself, be active in an international level. If you do conferences and whatnot, take the opportunity to do networking, right? Take their Facebook, ask them, can I be your friend in your Facebook, right? And WhatsApp, maybe, have roaming numbers. Do not have, unfortunately, my number is not roaming. So I travel over the world. So, when I make connection nowadays, my number is roaming numbers. So that is my number. So I always add to my phone. So it's very easy for, you can ask me if I have connection in Russia. Yes. Brazil. Yes. Argentina. Yes. So at that level. So that is what I want to, share with you.
If I may, to Dr. Fakhrul's first point about universities planning and budgeting, I personally love a good plan, and so being that that's the case, MACEE does stand, for outreach purposes. We will work with universities to try to help facilitate the planning of programming and background information based on figures and facts that we've had previously. This is something we hope to start doing in 2022. We're going to be doing more outreach to the universities, more outreach to our applicants, and programs like these. So please, if you are an institution or you are in charge of a department and this is something you're interested in, do not hesitate to reach out to Dr. Fakhrul and or MACEE to be connected so that we can help you on the technical assistance side of things.
Just one question, Dr. Fakhrul.
Prof. Malaya.
Yeah, I should thank you for organizing this at UiTM, which when I was the president, I wanted to organize in terms of the outreach program, as UiTM has got a quite number of members or Fulbrighters. And
Prof. Velayan, can I interrupt you? Mr. Curtis, Prof. Velayan here is our past president. Yeah, past president, and he's also from UiTM. Okay, so continue, Prof. Velayan.
So Curtis is now the what do you call program son in MACEE now.
Something like that. The executive director, sir.
You're the executive director.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I've not met you, lah. I was in the previous board, lah. Board of the. Oh, one day I'll meet you.
That'd be great.
What I'm trying to say, yeah, nice of meeting you, Curtis. And yeah, it was very interesting, lah, for particularly for the academic side of UiTM members to listen to this, which I said earlier I wanted to organize during my term, but I couldn't do it because I couldn't get more of those things working together, lah. And we have the quite number of Fulbright UiTM. If you look at the various faculties, throughout, including in all sciences, lah. So I think this is a good golden opportunity. Dr. Fakhrul have done it, and I hope we can do this in future, and then we can get the programs to be well, documented in terms of how many have got these programs throughout this period. So with this, I'd like to thank you much. I don't like to take much of your time. Let others to speak and to say. Thank you. I'll meet you one day.
Thank you, Prof. Velayan. Probably the researchers here or anyone or any audience here would like to, can reach you for assistance for the Fulbright application, I believe. Yeah, Prof. Velayan. Thank you so much. There is a question from Dr. Anida Yusoff. Yeah?
Am I allowed to ask a question? Sorry.
Prof. Guy.
Prof. Guy. Okay, Prof.
Okay,
Yeah, sure. Prof, go ahead.
Mr. Johnson, hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. I'm Guy from Highlander.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Since I've been writing on political science, is there any chance that I can talk to the POTUS?
And we say
and talk about political science?
The President of the United States. I actually do not have his number. However, I would say this: for that is a direct to embassy engagement. So we can facilitate a conversation to connect you to the embassy. It might be through I guess a letter correspondence, and as far as past that, because I am a binational commission, I actually don't work at the embassy. I worked for this entity that is Malaysian and American, but like I said, I think the best thing I can do is just connect you to the United States Embassy, depending on the circumstances.
Okay, because we have seen some people writing straight to like Barack Obama one time, and he entertained that.
Yeah, I mean, and it also depends on each president and how they manage that conversation. As we all know, President Obama had definitely a very special place in his heart for Southeast Asia. As an Indonesian resident for a good amount of time, and also multiple trips, not only to Indonesia but Malaysia as well. So the Biden administration, I can't really speak towards as far as how they're handling requests in that manner, because again, I don't work in the governmental sphere and space on that front. But what I think I can do is try to connect you to the United States Embassy and potentially somebody there who might be able to move things along.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Guy, for the
Thank
question.
you, sir. That would be great.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. There's one question from Dr. Alida Yusoff. Is there any specific criteria for the host institution in the US? Can it be any higher learning institution or research institute as long as they are agreed to accept our application with the chosen topic? Is there any specific criteria for the host institution in the US?
So who want to answer that? Well, my response will be depending on the Fulbright program, right? So I think we have to go to the specific of the program. Some of the program will require you to be in the universities, so it has to be in the universities. I'm not sure about the research institution.
Yeah, I think to that end, it is specific to the programs, and depending on which program. One of the things that we would like to start doing, and just, I won't say start doing because I'm going through my first cycle of recruitment and things of that nature. So some of the things that have not come up as of yet, I may just not know. But what I will say is I would like to, one of my goals is to work with the Malaysian and American governments and be more clear about the disciplines we're looking for the particular programs and how they complement strategically what Malaysia is attempting to do in country, and just making sure that focus, is the priority. And so I would say bring us your special circumstance and your unique case and your unique set of circumstances, and we will do our best to work with you to ensure that you're on the right track.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for the answer. And there's another question from Mr. Irwan Mazwan Ibrahim. Fulbright only provides a 2 years scholarship fund. How about 4 years program of PhD on the tuition fees and so on? Is there, for the PhD program?
This, Karen, would you happen to know, do we have any PhD specific programs?
Yes, we do, but
Your mic is low.
hi, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, yes, we do, but perhaps we can get more information on this question. We can get the person to write directly to us. We can check and we will revert to him or to her. Would that be possible?
Yeah, previously there were PhD programs also given.
Yes.
If you really look into the whole list of the establishment of this MACEE, there were programs were given. It all depends again on the type of project and what they're going to do, whether that will have the interest in the United States. It should be more of both the bilateral interests. Thank you. Oh, you are also from MACEE, yeah? MACEE.
Yeah.
So, Mr.
With
Johnson
that,
or Miss Karen, how can the audience reach you?
I will send my email in the chat box, and anybody is welcome to send me an email.
Okay, great, thanks.
oh, you are, what is your position there in MACEE now? You got my question?
Yes, I'm an administrative assistant. I am assisting Miss Kalis.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And so for everybody who knows Ms. Callis and is familiar with Ms. Callis, she is still with MACEE, but she is on medical leave that was planned early on. So she should be back with us, we say mid to late July. So Karen is helping me out as of today. So typically Ms. Callis would be on these calls and and also is, one of two now who work closely with our applicants and our grantees.
But one thing I like to say about the Macy's program and the people of Malaysia, this has really benefited hundreds of Malaysians throughout the wide spectrum of subjects, wide spectrum. So they have given the fellowship and they have also extended, particularly Malaysia exchange program has taken in people from all walks of life in their career. It can be apart from journalists, it can be a musician, different areas where they have already done well in this country, where they can go back and share with the United States, and then they can bring back new ideas. So why I'm saying that I am a recipient of two professional awards. One in 200 and the other one is 2005 while working in the zoo at the National Zoo in Kuala Lumpur. So one of the requirements for people like me who are not considered non-academic working as a clinical veterinarian, we have to be affiliated to one university and again should be affiliated to a zoo. So I had the opportunity of the first Fulbright with the Florida Zoo and then also with the University of Florida, and then in Tennessee, the second one, and also with the Tennessee Zoo, so the Knoxville Zoo, Knoxville Zoo in Tennessee. So it was a very difficult challenge, to get people to be accepted here. And since I've been in the zoo and we have a lot of collaboration between the American zoos and the Malaysian zoos, so we're able to have a lot. So what happens is, if this type of information can be given to your colleagues or friends, and they can then apply for all these awards. But we need more applicants, we need more applicants, and we wanted to be very competitive in terms of the selection. Sorry, Dr. What do you call, Curtis, if I've gone overboard you.
No, I appreciate public local validators. That is the point of these programs. It is, there's only so much I can say. And I understand being an American, selling this program is one thing. Being a Malaysian who has gone through this program and who can speak to it themselves intimately is much more valuable than anything I can say. And so it is always nice, one, to be able to hear the quality of the program from our Malaysian cohorts and counterparts. But as well, it helps us as staff to continue to fight on through the bureaucracies and the other things that we have to deal with to ensure a wonderful experience for our grantees. A couple of points that you reminded me of there is one of the things I was told when I started in one of my orientations or my courtesy calls with Washington. They said Malaysia, more than most of the other countries in the region, are less focused on the name of the institution and more focused on the service they can provide to their country. This is a service-oriented country. And to your point, we will be doing a better job in telling those stories as we move forward of those who have gone in the past. And as you also said, we are looking to grow the relationship widely, throughout various, disciplines. And we believe, and I think it's been exemplified by our presenters, that the relationships don't stop when you step foot off the plane and return to Malaysia. They continue, they grow. There's opportunity for greater partnership. There's opportunity for greater innovation and for greater collaboration. And so we are planting seeds, and we are not, as MACEE, overseeing those seeds, closely, but as long as that garden in Malaysia of education engagement is blooming, we have done what we need to do. And so, opportunities to speak like this are tremendous. I appreciate everyone who is a supporter from wherever their background is.
Dr. Curtis, I have got a question. Can
Yes,
I put forward the question to you? Okay. Now, can you just highlight this? How is the ETA program is going on? After a period of 10 years, there was an analysis of data done between the Ministry of Education and the Washington. And can you highlight it? At what stage are we now?
Yes, at what stage we are now is the Minister of Education here in Malaysia has suspended the program indefinitely.
I see.
So independent of impact and or studies or anything, the current Minister of Education does not see the validity in continuing the program. For me personally, if the program were to continue, we still would not be able to bring anyone in due to circumstances surrounding, travel restrictions and the pandemic. So I am comfortable with it being off the table for the time being. We thought there was value in the program. We believe that the schools and students felt there was value in the program. And so, I just think between the two governments, it is a discussion for another day. And ultimately, we are comfortable with the work that we have a good amount of work to do.
Okay, good, thank you. Just a supplementary question. Was there any other publication from this ETAs after the first book?
That is a great question. I started in February, so I'm not sure what had been published prior to my arrival. And by the time I came here, the program had already been suspended.
Yeah, they had one published a book. I don't know what the title is. It's something entitled Kampong, something like that. Maybe Fakhrul, you may know what the book.
Oh, that one. I cannot remember. It was with Prof. Rogaya. I think Prof. Rogaya, maybe we can pay Mr. Curtis a visit when this MCO is over.
That would be great.
Yeah, he's a very long time ex-president.
Datuk
Lots of
Belaya, please
information.
invite Mr. Curtis to Puncak Alam.
I would happily visit. I accept all invitations.
Yeah, come on over. We have 1,000 acres, and Datuk Belaya is in charge of the bunnies and the mice.
I'll bring my dog.
Yep.
I guess I think that's all the question from the audience today. Anything you want to add as your last word, Mr. Johnson and Dr. Fakhrul? Prof. Vilayan would like to share something.
I'm just in my room. Yes. I went into the lab you should get access to this, meetings of the minds of MACEE, 1963 to 1993. This was done by Pamela as well as Kala, they have done this. And subsequently, we had one published from the Fulbright Alumni Association by Susila, which we published. And the one on the ETA, I'm trying to see where it is. Anyway, you all carry on. Thank you very much. We'll meet very soon. You are occupying the residence at Ampang.
I do have a residence in Ampang, yes, sir.
Yes, in residence. Okay, okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Nice sharing there. Okay, so I think this is the end of the session, I guess. Unless you
Okay,
have
thank you.
something to say, Mr. Johnson, Dr. Fakhrul, Miss Reena. Anything from Prof. Ramesh? You want to say something?
Maybe
Yeah,
Ms. Reena apa, want to say anything?
maybe I can just say what I call don't think too much whether you can adapt or not adapt, whatever. The experience of Fulbright is very interesting. Just if you think you wanted to go for your research leave or sabbatical or for graduate students to further your studies or something like that, just do the proposal simultaneously, get your contact from US, just go ahead. Don't think too much whether we can adapt or not, because we are human being. We can adapt anywhere. So I don't think it's a problem. Because you cannot say, like initially some asked whether can adapt in US or not. I think the problem is everywhere. If you're in the wrong place and wrong timing, the problem is everywhere. So we don't think too much of the problem. Just get the proposal, just get a good contact and go ahead, and then hope for the best. It will work out. Thank you.
Great piece of advice. Don't think too much. How about Miss Reena? Do you have anything to say?
For me, it's more into sorry, it's my work teams. Okay, so for me, I think it's to give yourself time, a lot of time to prepare on the application, to understand really deep dive down on what you really want to study and how can that contribute to your country, and to be able to articulate that during the interview session. So I think that would definitely help you throughout the Fulbright journey.
Thank you, Miss Reena. Dr. Fakhrul, you want to say something?
Yeah. So I just say that I hope more applicants will be coming in, and you know, and together we can, you know, have more research, more contributions to the country. So yeah, that's from me.
Okay, let's contribute more, says Dr. Fakhrul. And probably last word from Mr. Johnson.
Just, I wanted to thank everyone for their participation and for sticking with the program. And we want you to apply, and we will do whatever we can to assist and ensure that you are ready with your application. And do not hesitate again to reach out to us at MACEE. We look forward to being in touch with you very soon. And again, thank you for the opportunity to appear this morning.
Yeah, Johnson, I also what you call thank you, because I really enjoy experiences of this that's coming from America. All the very glamorous, they call advertise for the America. And, culture. Thank you very much. We'll see you when things happens very well. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fakhrul. Again, I should congratulate you as the president of the Alumni Association of Malaysia for conducting this. The first time, participants, more than 45 participants, and through this virtual contact. Thank you. Thank you, also to the chairperson, the chairman, the moderator. Thank you very much, Rozana, isn't it? Rozana.
Rozana, yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. On behalf of the organizer, Research Management Center, UiTM, I would like to thank Mr. Johnson, Miss Karen, all of our honorable speakers, Dr. Fakhrul, Prof. Ramesh, Miss Reena, for a very beautiful and sharing session. Thank you very much. And if to the audience, thank you for being with us, to stay with us. There will be a QR code for you for the attendance purposes. So if you have any questions, please you can forward it directly to Miss Karanjit Kaur at karanjit@macee.org.my. It is in the chat session. And there is slides from Dr. Fakhrul as well. There is a link there, and you can get this recording through the FB link. Okay, so for now, thank you so much for your time. Assalamualaikum and yes, good morning. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. See you again. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.